Welcome back, everybody, to the You Ask We podcast, the show where you ask the questions, they answer them, and I'm just a guy in the middle. And today we have a super awesome episode for you guys. He's an all-star comedian from the Laugh Factory. He's an actor. He runs his own podcast. He's a television and radio personality. I want to give a warm
drum roll, please.
Thank you so much. I was hoping when you said super awesome, I thought you meant I was gonna be super awesome, not just the episode. Like you were, I thought you were gonna be like, "Oh, we have a super awesome guest," but you were like, "We have a super awesome episode of You Ask We podcast with me and this other guy who's here."
No, but it's an awesome episode because you're here.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you gave me a lot of credits. I appreciate you so much.
We also got my boy Shanny here, serving as co-host today.
Co-host.
Also a half Persian fella. So together we got one full Persian.
We got one full.
And he's wearing his sunglasses, so you know it's gonna be dope. Like he's about to bust a freestyle right now. Like honestly,
I could.
Your SoundCloud is probably fire. I'm gonna be very honest.
We're on Spotify now, but SoundCloud was almost the peak at one point.
Can I say though? Can I say something about Spotify? Yeah. Spotify does not break new artists the way SoundCloud used to. Like SoundCloud, you used to go to SoundCloud for underground artists.
Absolutely.
Now Spotify, if they don't pay for that playlist play, you don't even hear who they are.
Yeah.
Like you got to have yeet money to be like a quote unquote underground artist that gets known. But on SoundCloud, it could literally be like, who's that? Oh, this is Jonathan Worthington. Yeah. It's like, who's that? My little brother. He's great. And Jonathan Worthington would go super viral off one song, you know?
It's true. Shouts out Apple Music.
It's like they can make it out of nowhere over there. Especially during that whole like Playboy Cardi Uzi.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That was a whole vibe. That was the peak of it. You could really get famous off of SoundCloud.
It's literally just random people.
Yeah, no, not even a physical mixtape, nothing. People were like just looking on SoundCloud for who has like the most normal name or the weirdest name. What's your name? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
But I spell it all out. Like why?
Yeah.
You know? Then you would be fire.
Yeah.
It was a good time, bro.
Yeah, so I mean, we got a bunch of questions that people submitted to ask you.
Eden was done with our talk about he was over the music talk. He didn't want to talk about it. He's like, yo, listen, it's You Ask, We Tell, Shut the F Up podcast. You do, did we ask? Yeah. Did I ask about?
He's like, I didn't ask it, so we're not talking about it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Nah, but the first question always comes from me, and that's, what's new with you? What's going on?
Honestly, here's the thing. I would love to be like, there's this new and that's new and this is all new. With me right now, it's really same old, same old. I'm like just doing shows and just getting out there and, working on shows and things like that, which in the world today is not a horrible thing. Like same old right now is like not horrible. There was a time, same old, you'd be like, oh man, oh no, it's same old, it's complaining. But now the world, as long as it's not like, yo, what's new? Homelessness. You know what I'm saying? You're doing well.
Yeah,
so
it's good to have a routine. 100%.
It's not about just the routine. I don't want to ever be comfortable where I'm just like complacent, but I'm on what I think is the right path, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm on this journey and I'm enjoying the process, and hopefully the results and the fruits of my labor get to a point where I look back and I go, yeah, I did it the right way,
Yeah.
Not every artist gets to do that. Some people make missteps. Mm-hmm. Drake should have never said shit about Kendrick. Like, like if he could go back in time, if he could go back in time, he would have redid that. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
He would have just ignored the diss.
He would have just just been like, oh, okay, cool. It wasn't even that big a diss. It actually sounded cool.
It's like J. Cole had the foresight.
Yeah, that's because J. Cole got a phone call. Yeah. Listen, Cole got a phone call? He got a phone call. Kendrick's people called Cole, was like, you don't want to be a part of this. And Cole was like, nah, this is cool. It's on Rise. Getting us.
No.
You do not want this.
Cole. No. And that was it. And he was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was bad for my aura. Like,
my
was
energy.
Losing sleep.
Why? You've dissed people before. It's just this one was bad for your aura.
It was really
AKA
bad.
career. Yeah, that was. Look, and here's my thing. Like, I don't diss Drake just because everyone else has decided to diss Drake today. You know? Mm-hmm. Drake has had an amazing career. Like, out of all musical artists, Drake has had a career. And if I could be anyone else, like, for real, it would be Drake. I'd like Drake, sales, lifestyle,
longevity,
girls, like, okay, good, except the underage ones. We should have stayed away from that, Drake.
Yeah. Oh man.
Which I really, a lot of times we take celebrity gossip as if it's truth just because somebody said something, or we've said a lot of things to each other that when we play around, like, oh, your mama is a XYZ, but those aren't true either, right? So we take a lot of things as a public. We love judging, court of public opinion. We love like just 100%. Throwing something out, and then that becomes the truth.
Yes. The only problem is I hear friends that are like really close in that kind of circle, and they tell me stuff about like girls going to his parties that are like under 18. But I don't want. It's
under
all
18, or are they 18 and up and just young?
Under 18, and there are a couple that are 18 too. It's
so
like,
because
it's like an 18-year-old girl bringing her friend that's like 17.
Because my thing is, okay, so but is Drake talking to them? See, here's my thing. The idea is, and I'm not defending, I'm never gonna defend anyone who's with anyone underage. And I don't even like it when like older people are with like girls that are too young. I don't even like that no matter what.
Yeah.
My thing is with Drake is I just don't see him being with young girls. I've seen him at action a lot. I've just never seen him with a young girl. Like actually be with a young girl or like talk to a young girl. I know he likes to just be the man, but to be with a young girl, I've never seen that. I've seen him be with some hoes. I see him being with ratchet girls.
I was going to say that.
Hold on. Actually, that's okay, I want to explain that from other side of point of view, okay?
Right.
Because there are times like when I was young and coming up, older female artists would befriend me, and not just because it's not like they were grooming me, they were because they were giving me and putting me on game and understood what I was going through more than any average person would just know. Fame is a beast, bro. Like it's not like it looks really like all the glitz and glamour and the lights on the outside, but you know how you don't like people up in your business? What if people were up in all of your business all of the time trying to find out everything? What if every time you tripped on the sidewalk, you get up embarrassed, everybody watched you. Like it becomes like a thing. And sometimes we look at things from a lens like, oh, it's got to be wrong. When the truth is her parents were involved. And I'm not going to know better than her own parents. Her parents were like, no, we're okay with how they communicate. Like they're friends. Millie Bobby Brown has more in common with Drake at 15 or 13 or whatever than most of us do at any point in our lives, because they just know what it's like to be in a spotlight. I don't think he ever sent any inappropriate things or anything like that. Clearly, we would have all heard about that. So like, it's easy to be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And if it's true, the allegation is true, I'm not going to defend him. But I just want to live in a world where we all...
Business is true?
No, but that's real. Like, I want to live innocent until proven guilty. We love just breaking people all the time. And I would hate for that to be any one of you or anyone out there or anyone, like, no one would like that feeling. And even though a lot of us, and I'm not saying me, I love greatness, so I love Kendrick and I love Drake and I love everybody that's been able to achieve things within, for the most part, but I wouldn't want to be on the other side of where everyone thinks I'm guilty of something I wasn't even a part of. Like, I felt that way. When girls like accuse you of cheating and you haven't even cheated, and you can't prove, like, you're like, yo, but I didn't, but I didn't. No, but I did. Prove it. Prove what? How do I prove that I didn't?
Yes.
You're lying. True. Ask her. She's lying. Ask the bed. The bed's lying. Like, it's just a tough situation.
Also, like, that whole like situation, like the beef between them, there was a lot of he say, she say, because it's like he say actually, because it's like the whole thing like Drake was saying about Kendrick, like, oh, you beat your wife. Like,
yeah, and all that too.
Going back and forth, like that couldn't be like validated. But the thing was with Drake was it's like something I heard was that when like Kendrick released like Not Like Us, UMG, who like represents like kind of both of them, like tried like telling Kendrick, yo, take this off Spotify. Like this is like wrong.
Oh nah, you can't.
And Kendrick was like, no.
I don't think that was off of. I think that was off of Drake being like, yo, this could hurt my. You can't. That's actually not a thing. That's actually an interesting thing. A lot of people don't realize that defamation, when it comes to libel and slander and how they play out, is not the same rules. Do not apply to celebrities.
Yeah, it's
because
different
put yourself
and regular citizens.
exactly, because you
The
have put
burden of
yourself
proof.
in that. Exactly. So that's why that's actually a very protected constitutional Supreme Court cases on that. Actually, the people we need to thank of all people is Larry Flint, who is the creator and was the publisher in chief of Hustler magazine. A lot of our First Amendment protected free speech rights come from him taking it to the Supreme Court. But it's not the same burden of proof. So they can't just be like, oh, well, you said this about me and it's not true. You can really say a lot of things about celebrities, which is why those magazines at the grocery stores just say outrageous things and they make money. Exactly.
It's also a bit of the thing where, like, even if it's said with malice and reckless disregard, you need to kind of prove that not only is it destroying his career in some kind of way, but I'm actually losing my train of thought. But you're going to have to just basically prove.
No, you're actually on the right. Yeah. You have to prove that it's actually malintent on purpose, intentful. And not only is it destroying his career, his reputation, but his peace of mind, which is like, it's a larger burden of proof. And that's actually correct, especially because it's a civil case to begin with. So it's not just like, oh, I said something even about you. It's not that I just said something about you. It's how far you went. And then when it comes to like celebrity, exactly. When it comes to celebrity, the burden is way greater.
I remember what I was going to say too. It's because he's openly engaging in that. So it's almost consenting to that, because if you're going to throw a diss track and I diss you back, it's almost like, you know how we were talking about boxing in one of our civil cases, that when you're boxing, you're agreeing to get hit in the face.
Exactly.
You can't sue someone saying, hey, yo, you just hit me in the face. No, you're agreeing to this because you're consenting to be in the ring.
Or I'd have to sue everybody I play basketball with all the time. I'd have to be like, yo, you fouled me. Like,
yeah.
So,
but also, I feel like you can show it affected Drake really badly.
Oh,
after
for sure.
He released that one Delilah.
I mean, here's the thing. Listen. He entered that battle willingly. You know, you have, even if nothing, you have like, you didn't handle it. You know, he's a pro.
Yeah.
No one said anything when he won against Meek Mill. Like, this is rap. That is how hip hop goes. It is a contact sport. Yes. It is a competitive sport. And you know what? In this case, no matter how you look at it, Drake lost. In life, Drake is still winning. I'm not worried about how it's affecting his career. He still lives in a mansion that's like all the mansions in one mansion, you know, and I'm sure it bothers him, but that's what happens when you open yourself up. The career's probably
done, but it's been great.
No, the career, but that's the thing too. His career is not done. It's just never going to be the same. Like when you have people in Dubai going, wah, 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 like it's done. Like that's not fun. You know, he just went up against the wrong one. And with all the allegations that are thrown and stuff, because there was this one allegation against Puff Daddy that a lot of people were like quick to like be like, oh, Cassie's a liar. And then until you saw the video, you know, my thing is, if everyone just shut their mouths sometimes, the world would be a better place. Like, let things play out before you have one thing to say or another. Like, just 100%. Let it play out, because you don't like it when people do that to you. You know, let it play out. And then we saw that video, and a lot of people had to march back their words, you know? And I wrote something I'm definitely one of those people, when I write something on someone's Instagram post and they say something to me, I will go back 8 weeks later and be like, what about now?
Yeah.
Carl 9494.
How's that going?
69, you know?
How's that working out for you?
Exactly. Yeah. So when it happened, I was like, hey, these allegations have come up. Let's see how it goes. Don't just judge Cassie. Sometimes let's believe women when they talk, you know?
Yes.
Let's believe them. Even though there are times that it doesn't play out that way, let's believe them until otherwise, you know? Let's believe women. And also, let's not just not believe men. Let's, you know, and all of a sudden, I was attacked. I was like, you're a cuck, you're a this, you're a that. Oh, you don't see what she's really trying to do? And then the video came out. I was like, hey.
Who's a cuck?
Yeah, I was like, hey.
Who did that?
You know?
Speaking of outside comments, we have questions from fans.
Oh, yeah, let's get to your questions.
Who really
what are your questions?
So
these were questions I made up for myself, and I answered them, by the way.
On 5 different accounts.
You, by the way? Because it's like, I saw a lot of Lala for president.
Yo, nah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was
Run for Lala. Go for Lala.
No, but yeah, I mean, it's like this first one is like kind of like a simple thing. It's like, because it's like you have a huge like comedy presence, like with the Laugh Factory. So it's like, how'd you get into that? And it's like, what are like some moments that you like look back at now and like you're really proud of, really ashamed of?
So the way I got to the Lap Factory was this. Actually, it's so interesting. I was finishing up school. I was finishing up law school, right? And I was trying to figure out what my next move was. And to be honest,
you went to law school?
Yeah.
What
And
law?
what do you mean? What kind of study did I? What kind of
Both.
did I want to go
What
to?
school and what?
So yeah, that's the thing. I went to school in DC. Okay, so I went to Georgetown, and then on top of that, I was trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. And I was getting in I was using my powers for not so good. I was in there. I was in the streets just navigating with parties and doing concerts and all that stuff. And I was trying to figure out what my next thing was. And at that point, I don't know why I had this thing on TV, cable. I had this thing called Fuse Network, which is like Canadian MTV.
I've seen Fuse.
Yeah, I don't even know why I had Fuse, you know? But I'm watching Fuse TV and I see this like guy. He's like a light-skinned black guy, brown skin, great smile, fro, skinny, and he's telling jokes and introducing music videos. And I literally watched this guy as I'm trying to figure out what I want to do in life. And I was like, wow, if he could do this, I can do this too. And the reason that's important is because and his name is Mikey Winfield. He's actually a friend of mine now. Very funny comedian. Did really well on America's Got Talent. So if you haven't seen, he got to where he needed to go. But at that time, I literally just saw someone who kind of looked like me and was like, yo, if he can do this thing, I can do it too. And that's why representation is so important for us to be represented, no matter who you are, on television. To be able to, because if you see someone else doing who looks like you do something that you think you can do, then you're like assured you can do it. It inspires you, right? So after that, I flew to California because he was supposed to be performing at the Lap Factory that weekend. And he didn't end up showing up, but I did meet the owner of the Lap Factory. And when asked, I took the opportunity. I was like, oh, I'm a comedian. He's like, he was like, well, come back Monday and do a show Monday. Wow. I didn't even live in LA at the time.
You were visiting.
Right? I wasn't even visiting. I was there literally for the weekend just to meet that guy, to ask him how he did what he did to get on TV. And so I wasn't here he wanted me to go on that night just to see me, but the night ran long. So he was like, come back Monday, do the show Monday. And I had a flight back Sunday. I had to change my flight, spend money I didn't have, push it, stay in a place. Thankfully, I had friends that supported me, and they all came to the show Monday, and I got on stage and I performed. And here's the thing, I wasn't that funny, but I was funny enough. There was something there because,
Charisma.
Thank you. And then on top of that, I had all the riz, but more importantly, I had something, and the owner wasn't even there that day. He didn't even see me. He just heard that I did okay. And then he was like, okay, from now on, you have a show every Monday.
Wow.
And before that, and I want to make sure that I give these people shout outs. The first person who put me on stage was a Persian comedian named Max Amini. Now Max is killing it right now. He's a legend right now. Yeah. Especially in the Persian community, he's become the Eddie Murphy of this Persian community.
Like a staple.
He's fuck. Because I didn't want to say Chappelle because I feel like I'm the Chappelle, but he's the Eddie Murphy, for real.
The tomato juice bit raised generations.
It did. It really did. So then he put me on stage. He came to do a show in DC, and at that time I was throwing big parties and events. So he had me host and was like, do comedy though, don't just host. So I did comedy for the first time, and it felt that felt good. Then Maz Jobrani, who's also a brother to me.
He's also good.
Yeah, and he's also a GOAT especially in the Persian comedy world, and even in the American comedy world. He's been on Friday After Next, and he's just done a lot of things, and one of Cat Williams' favorite comedians, and this and that. Maz gave me the second opportunity to get on stage when he had a big show in Washington, D.C. at George Washington University. Wow. So I did both those shows, and then I was like, yo, I think I have something. Flew to L.A., met the owner of Lap Factory. He gave me a show on Mondays. I was still finishing school, but was flying back and forth from LA to, from DC to LA every single Monday to get to that show, and then had to make it back on Tuesday to make it to school. Exactly.
And this was your last year of law school?
This is my last year.
That's so
And I was
cool.
like, yo,
All
that's
that
a real
during
thing.
3L is insane.
Yo,
We're
that's the
literally
thing.
about to be 3
Yeah,
hours.
so
Like,
you know
that's
what it
cool.
is. It's
Yeah.
actually 3L is actually going to be like your,
Yeah.
like, because you saw the difference between 1L and
Yes.
2L.
Yeah.
1L, they want you to fail.
Yes.
They want you
Yeah.
to drop
They're
out.
almost trying to.
Yeah,
Weeding out the weak people.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's how schools get their ratings, you know? The
Yeah.
more they can weed out, the better they are. 2L is like they kind of let you find who you want to be in law.
Yes.
You know, you kind of like dictate, are you going to be a criminal attorney? Are you going to be, you know, you take more con law or torts, or are you going to be like a
Decide more of
property
your
attorney?
focus.
You know, you'll take a little, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Then 3L, they're like, let's find you a job.
Yeah.
Let's get you to, we don't care. You're not going to fail. Let's just
Yeah.
get you a job. So thankfully it was then. Timing is everything.
Yeah.
Timing is everything. But that's how I got on. And I'm proud of every show. Like the last show I did is always my best show, no matter what. It's the show that meant the most. And the one time I was like, yo, all right, one time I bombed bad. I'm not even going to lie. Like I bombed. I wasn't, and I learned my most valuable lesson, always be ready. And it's something no matter what your profession is, you should always be ready. Be on. Like don't just do it with passion. Do it because you love it. Like y'all two are going to be attorneys. You don't have to do this. You get to do this, you know?
Yes.
So figure out that passion within your own. Don't hope there's a dare to be great situation. Learn how to dare to be great, period.
Before we ask their next question, I have a question. What made you bomb that show? Was it was it the lack
I
of
wasn't
preparation?
ready.
What
I wasn't ready. I was newer. I was there. I was not in the mode because I didn't know you should always be ready with that mode. You know, you guys are going to go up and the judge is going to ask you a question. If you're not prepared, you should just be so on. It's not even about knowing. See, there's a difference between just like knowing things and being prepared. Being prepared is also knowing things, but you also can anticipate things. I wasn't in that mode. A comedian, Dane Cook, he was going to go up, but he wasn't ready to go up yet. Like he had just got in. And another comedian, Chris D'Elia, who also got in a lot of trouble, you know. Chris D'Elia got in some trouble, but he was at this time, he was like on his way up, you know, killing. And so they told me to go up. And before I could say no, my name was called. And I go on stage, and for 5 minutes, it was just crickets. I was just not, I was just unprepared. And it was so bad that I was like getting off. Someone said, nice try. You know, it was like, and they were trying to be nice. Yeah. So I was in my feelings.
Salt
I
on
was
the
like
wound.
thinking, like, did I make
It's like
the
this
worst
was
decision?
At Laugh Factory, or
Yeah, it was at the Lap Factory. And I was like, yo, did I make the wrong decision? What was I thinking? Like, I left like a good life that I was living, left a possible good career to come do this. Okay, cool. Cool. That happened. Fine.
Those bumps and bruises make you stronger.
Or they can, you know, they weed you out.
They do.
Right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's up to you.
Yeah.
So instead of like staying in my feelings, I was like, there's nothing I can do about that. But next time, I will never let that happen. What were my mistakes? I wasn't present. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't on. I was intimidated. I let that get to me. Boom. And the opportunity, that exact same thing played out. And this time I was ready. And this time I crushed. And that was when I was just like, okay.
I feel like something that also throws you off your rhythm is like hecklers. Like,
It can, but that's what I'm saying. At that time, I didn't even get heckled. That's how bad it was. I got crickets. That's worse. Like, at least it's
like, have you
heckle.
ever
At least
got,
with a heckler,
heckled,
they're
really
involved.
bad? Like,
I've
what was
never
that
been
like?
heckled really bad. I've been heckled, but it always plays well for me because the heckle retort is one of my stronger suits. So it plays out well for me. And a heckler, sometimes hecklers think they're adding to the show, but they're really not. Like,
Yeah,
you're not
they're
the
just
comedian. Just let me
gabbing.
be funny, you know? Like, and unless you're a comedian that can control that situation, they can get the best of that situation. But you should never let them get the best of you. So when you have a heckler, it's just a curveball. You become a better batter. So you just learn how to hit those curveballs too. So you have people who are really great with crowd work. Matt Rife kills it off crowd work, you know? And you watch him do it. And then there's another comedian, Ian Baggs, kills it off crowd work. Maximini killing crowd work. That comes from practice. There is no like, it always looks nice when you have just a natural ability, but like being a tall guy doesn't get you in the NBA. You still have to practice.
Yeah.
You know, even LeBron goes to practice. Kobe obviously went to extreme practice. You know, so it's like Jordan went to practice. Like, you have to practice.
Hard
No
work.
matter what. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like I mean, within like your comedy, I feel like a big theme is the fact that it's like you got that half Persian, half African American sides.
Did you not know how to say? Was he not sure? Like he knew I'm half. Like you knew how to say I was like half black, but you weren't sure what the proper term was, and you're like, "Yo, I don't want to get canceled."
It's like this show's like so
like,
respectful.
what are we supposed to do? Like, who am I supposed to be? You know, it's not your fault. We live in a world right now where like everything feels like eggshells, but it's really not. You know, it's really not. Like, I understand where even that brief hesitation of something you knew, but you weren't sure, were you supposed to say black or African American or how that works? That's honestly, it's not even your fault. Obviously, it's not because you're like, you didn't have malintent at all.
Honestly, I feel like it's harder for a comedian today than it was 30 years when George Carlin was coming out. Because I see how the censorship and the dilution's been going on in comedy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it feels that way, but the truth is, it's a double-edged sword, okay? There's two sides to it. You can just because someone's offended doesn't mean they're right. Okay? Just because someone's offended doesn't mean they're right. But just because someone's offensive doesn't mean they're funny. There's a fine line in between, and that's good comedy.
It's an art.
So when it comes to like the low hanging fruit jokes, we've heard them all. So now you just got to be a better comedian.
Like you got to be creative.
You just got to be creative. You got to be better. You got to be funnier. You got to be this. And even in normal life, we're walking on eggshells. It's like, we don't have to. We just have to be mindful. It's different. If you just add just half a second of doing something can make someone feel included. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, oh, he, she, no, I'm a they, them. Okay, they, them, pay me my fucking money. Like, yo, I don't care. Like, do you feel included now? Where's my money? You know?
Right, $20 and
okay, cool. Just like everyone's included, you know? Sometimes they'd overdo it though on the low. I watched that Olympics opening.
Yeah.
Did y'all see the Olympics
I know
opening?
what you're talking about.
No, they did.
Captain
They
America,
pushed it.
baby.
They pushed it like, come on, bro. Like, they pushed it where it was like everyone's gay. Like, can't we just have a balance? Why do we have to overdo things? Like, just be normal. Like, not everyone's straight, not everyone's gay, not everyone's trans. Not every trans girl's good looking. You know what I'm saying?
I saw comments saying
Not
the gay Last Supper. Like,
yo,
the Last
I mean,
Supper,
real. Like, not every regular person is, good either. Like, yo, just.
One more thing before I ask you the question too. I saw a comparison too from like a 1976 video where they got an arrow, they shoot it, it goes down, and then it sets like this thing ablaze, and then they compared it to this one where it's like that whole.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love artistic stuff. It's just like sometimes we overdo it. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're too woke, we're too politically correct, where you can't even address me racially without feeling guilty in some way. Like, yo, sometimes if somebody robs me, I'm gonna be like, yo, it was that white guy, it was that black guy, it was this, it was this Latino guy, something. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, it was a guy. I didn't see color. No, I saw his color.
He's on the darker side.
Yeah, yo, we can still address. We just do it with respect. Like, we can have respect. It's easy.
So what's the question?
The Olympics are like getting crazy though, like especially with USA basketball, like just tearing up everybody.
Well,
like
USA, okay. When America's like, oh, we better get the gold in basketball. Like, everybody who has a shoe is on one team. Okay, literally everyone who has a shoe is on one team, and then you're playing Ubuntu. Okay, from South Sudan.
Like, basketball these days, it's a whole different thing because it's like you got Giannis in Greece, you got like
it's worldwide now. They're balling. You're getting to the point where America's not going to get the gold medal in the future, and you're going to see a lot of international players. Like, it's happening as we speak. It's become global. I don't think people realize how new basketball is. Like, if it wasn't for Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, we might not have NBA basketball today at all. Like, people 100%. Might not have had basketball. It was not going to continue. It was failing. That's why the NBA and the ABA joined. It was failing. And thankfully, now it's propelled to world heights. It's become the hip hop of sports. It's like basketball. It's like for the people.
Yeah. And also purely because of Noah Lyles, we have this God squad of a team
trying
to get gold. was all his fault, bro. He was like, world champions of what?
What? We got a world champion.
The world.
Yo, why did he said that? But on the low, it made a lot of people upset. But he wasn't wrong. We love saying world champion a lot. Yeah. We love saying things like, "Yo, oh my God, she's Miss Universe." How do we know? Did you go to Mars? What if a girl on Mars is like, that's not fair? You know what I'm saying? There's a girl on planet Nibiru who's like, whoa.
Light years away.
Have you seen me? A universe? No. The whole universe?
Yeah.
That's why we have so many abductions.
But moving back to like that first thing I was saying, it's like, the biggest theme, like one of the biggest themes like in your comedy is that like you're half Persian, half black.
Sure,
so, like,
that's a big theme
Persian side
as well. It's not the only thing. People tend to think, but it's just like me explaining myself. Like, it gives a lot of context to who I am.
Background story.
As a person, exactly. Like, you're half Iranian, half what? What's your other?
I'm Nicaraguan, so I'm Central American.
So you get that.
Yes.
There's a comedian, Martin Amini, who's half Iranian, half Bolivian.
Oh, wow.
And he's putting out a lot of good content.
I'll check him out.
He's part of that Matt Rife crew. So, like, he's actually Max Amini's cousin.
We should just start a club where all the half Persians have something.
That's
just come and hang out.
There's actually a lot of half Persians who make moves. I don't think people realize that. Like, even half Persian, half black. There's Yara Shahidi. She had blackish and then college-ish.
Wow.
It's killing it. Like, people are killing it.
So it's like, where does dating a Persian girl put you in this, like...
Or do you prefer black girls?
Hypothetically speaking,
that's the thing. It's interesting. I don't date girls for their race. So it's not like I like Persian girls or black girls.
Yes.
The one thing I look for is like for a girl to be like intelligent. Well, of course she needs to be attractive. That's the first thing you see. No one ever goes, damn, look at the GP on that girl. Like you have to get, like see her. Then you have to, I want intelligent, someone who's articulate. But the most important thing, like someone who's loyal, kind-hearted. But the most important thing when it comes to women for me is I want her to be rich. Honestly, I'm tired of this working. Like, this is not working. I need a sugar mom. At this point, honestly, she might not even have to be a girl. Like, honestly, if she pays, like, I'm like,
I just want someone to make you chai at the end of the day.
Exactly. I'll buy new memories, you know? Like, I don't even need to remember. Yeah. But real, like, when it comes to girls, I have talked to Persian girls. I have talked to black girls. The one girl that I've not really ever like is like Caucasian girls, like white American girls, because I just wouldn't even know how like to bring her home. Like I don't think she could interact with my family.
In Calabasas.
Yeah, like easy. Like they just like, oh, want to meet my parents? I literally met you yesterday. Like culturally, when you're Persian, that's such a strong culture. It kind of dictates a lot of your life. You know,
I agree.
Being Persian is just like a lot. Like it's not a little responsibility. It's like with great power comes great responsibility. That's what being Persian's like. And so like, I don't want a girl who can't interact with like a Persian family, even if no matter what race she is, she's gonna have to have culture. Like you have to have culture.
You gotta have something going.
Yeah, and I would prefer it if you spoke at least one other language. Like ideally, something. Give me something. You know, and no, Ebonics is not a language. You can't just speak sexy red and that get away with it. You can't speak trailer park. Like, I need an actual language, be a little worldly, understand where things are, you know? Want to mess up? Say Iranian one time and see what happens. Like, you say Iranian, be that in the know, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like, what would you say is like your favorite thing, like between like both cultures that you grew up with?
The best part about Persians and the best part about black people is the part that I feel like should unite all people, their food. The food is the best part.
I knew you were going to say food.
By far. Like, Persian food, oh my God. Like
100%. My girlfriend's mom makes the best Persian food.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so good. She makes macaroni.
Yeah. Oh, like, some macaroni. Like you might even want to break up with her and be like, yeah, but the food. Like you might stay. Like the food is amazing. You know, Persian food is amazing. Black food, and I'm saying that in the tradition of the South, like that soul food is amazing.
I wish there was a kosher soul food.
Yo,
I wish.
I'm sure there's got to be. They have kosher marijuana. Like someone's doing it somewhere, right? So there's got to be a kosher soul food. I'm sure if you Google it, it exists somewhere.
What's your dish of choice for Persian food and the soul food? Like, what are you getting for your soul food?
Okay, so if I'm soul fooding it up, so obviously I've never had pork, right? So that's like X nay on pork.
Right, X that out.
I've never had pork, so I've never had like pork chops or any. I've never even had pepperoni on pizza, which, by the way, pork for the most part I'm cool, but there are some things like bacon just looks like it'd be amazing. It even like speaks to you, it's like, come here, right?
The sizzle.
And I love turkey bacon and beef bacon, so I'm only assuming that pork bacon, the way they eat it, it's got to be good. The way Gentiles just slap, like they're like, I'm like, yo, calm down. You know, you don't even give haktua that good. Like, what are you? So, Ghormeh sabzi is my go-to Persian food by far. Ghormeh sabzi is
so hard.
Number
the
one.
tadik and all that.
Yeah. Number two will be zeresh polo. Okay. With bamor, which is chicken. And then number three would be probably khime. Okay. That's the one with the beefs and the little
it's like
beans.
lentil kind of
lentil beans and like
rice.
They put little chippy fries on it. But it's great. It is. It honestly is. I also have food is my least favorite. I hate Fess and June.
Yeah.
I hate Badem June. Anything with a June, you know? I don't even know if I like the month of June. I just don't like those foods, okay? And when it comes to soul food, honestly, the best soul food is in like a shack in the back of a house.
Yes.
In the hood to the left where like you get mugged while you're paying for the food, but that food is so good it's worth it.
The more dangerous the hood, the better the food.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. And then that's when you get your chicken and your mac and cheese.
It's like the same applies to like shawarma places. It's like
yeah,
as oily the bag could be, that's how you know it's like it's
the only time anti-Semitism is okay is when it's at a shawarma place. Like if you're anti-Semitic shawarma, that joint slaps. Like it's just, this is delicious. You know what? You're right about the Jews, Ahmed. You know what I'm saying? It's delicious, you know? So it's like that, or the most, you have to be the most, is where the guy smoking the cigarette, like the Israeli guy who's smoking a cigarette, hasn't washed his hands in like 3 days, and he's making you shawarma, you know, as the cigarette ash is like falling in the sauce. Like, I don't know why, but those are the best. It's like something.
The chest hair is all out.
Yeah, it's the sweat is what makes it delicious. Real.
Like hummus, mouth.
Yeah, exactly. That guy.
It's like if he's whoever it is, if they're yelling at you aggressively while taking your
for
order,
no reason, like
great shawarma.
You're like,
it's like a Sunday morning. No, it's not even that busy right now.
It's 10 a.m. Like,
that guy is gonna be good. Yeah.
But it's like, are you like big on like Sadaf tea?
Sadaf tea. You know what? I'm not a huge tea drinker. However, Sadaf has really good tea. You know what I've never had? I've never had coffee in my life. I've never drank coffee. So
not even once.
Not even once. So I've just never had coffee. And tea, I'm not like a big tea drinker. But there are times where obviously I've drank tea, like probably I drink tea like 10 times a year.
Wow.
Total.
Do you smoke?
And I don't smoke.
That
I don't smoke anything. I don't smoke. I've never smoked hookah. I've never smoked any. I've never even tried any drugs.
Nice.
I've never drank alcohol. Like,
so you just exist.
It's just not my thing. I like my... I get high off life. Yeah. Like I'm really, sometimes people come to me and they're like, yo, remember that night we went out and this happened, that happened. And you were, oh my God, you were so wasted. I'm like, no, I was sober. Like I was just bored. So I started doing like Tehran is bored things. That is it.
What's a Tehran is bored thing?
Yo, Tehran is bored thing. He might just go and start DJing at the club, pushing, you know, DJ Khaled to the side and start DJing himself. Like, Tehran board is a dangerous thing. Anything to liven up, you know, talking reckless to a group of people that walk by, like anything.
More dangerous than the average wasted person.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm not like belligerent. I'm just dangerous. Like I'm doing things that are entertaining myself. Whether the people around me or the people I'm talking to are entertained or not, that is not consequential.
It's like it's giving you more material.
Exactly. It's just I'm in the zone. It happens. I start going that way.
You know, it's like, speaking of like getting material, I feel like so much material is coming from like everything that's going on politically these days. Like Trump getting shot, Biden dropping out, Kamala. Like, what are your thoughts on like all that stuff?
You know, when it comes to politics, I have a much more moderate view of the world, maybe because I'm in this Venn diagram of all these mixes, you know? And even on the Black and Persian thing, one of the things...
loves Venn diagrams, too.
Yeah, they love it, but they use it incorrectly, you know?
Yeah.
My thing is, even with the Black and Persian thing, I was going to be like, another thing that is a connecting factor is music. The music is great. But as far as politics, I'm a right wing, left wing, same bird. We need to figure this out together. Why are we so worried about Republican versus Democrat and so less worried about just America as a
country.
whole? Like, yo, I don't care what political party, whoever has the better idea for this subject at hand, that should be the play,
100%.
no matter who it comes from. Why are we not working towards the betterment of this nation as a whole?
It's like, it's really not serious. Like,
It's really not. Like, all this stuff we're doing, like, why are people losing their minds?
Yeah.
You know, the rest of the world is looking at us like laughing. You have Hulk Hogan tearing his shirt.
Donald Trump.
Of all the wrestlers they could have chose to come to like that convention, Hulk Hogan was probably like the worst choice. Like,
It's
that
not
didn't
vote
get-
for Donald, brother.
did not get the WWE vote. I'll
It's
tell you
not
right
the
now.
it's not the worst choice. He's like an icon in
Yes.
that sport, in that entertainment group. But the idea is that's not what politics is supposed to be about.
Yeah, no,
this shouldn't be simply a popularity contest.
debacle.
And exactly. It should be, hey, I'm a person who thinks I can do well for America, not just a group of Americans, not just a section of America, but America as a whole. And these are my ideas. What are yours? It should be a conversation.
It really should. That's true.
What's the debate?
It's really not like
what are we
Trump-
debating? We're debating on, like, you guys are hating each other. I don't care if you like each other. What's best for here? What people don't realize about the government is not our parents. They're not our overlords. They're
They
literally
work for us.
not only do they work for us, they are they're basically a property management that we pay, right, with our taxes. We pay them to manage our property. And if a property management doesn't do a good job, we should get rid of them. You know? Yeah. And so, like, my thing with the government is like, why is this happening? Why these are the best candidates we could find out of this country of 350 million plus to run this nation? And people get so mad, they take it offensive, like as if President Trump is their uncle or Kamala Harris is their sister or, you know, Joe Biden's their dead grandfather. Like, yo, like, what are you so taking what personal?
People get
Because I don't
really
like
worked
something.
up.
They say, like it's not red versus blue, you know, which is another thing we should talk about. In politics, if you have two people running for president, that's all we can choose. If you don't like red, blue. If you don't like blue, red. If you like green or purple or orange, you don't even count. That's a problem we should have. Like, we should have a conversation like, for Miss America, I can choose between 50 plus people, all 50 states and the territories and like Puerto Rico and Samoa. But when it comes to the president, I only get two.
But it's like the whole bit with that. It's like, it's not that those are the only choices. It's that those two choices are the most like powerful parties like in the country. It's like, even if
that's
you
a problem
wanna
too.
choose, like, it is a problem. But it's like, there's like, it's so heavy like on those two.
I have a problem with all of it. I have a problem with the fact that they spend millions and millions. Like, Kamala Harris was like, yo, I raised $80 million in 22 hours. Like, yo, I'm not,
like,
I mean, if it costs that much, like, yo, get that 80 million. Let's
Help.
That 80 million could solve a lot of homelessness right now. Like, why are we to me, if it was me, no lobbyists, no raising funds, none of that. No one can buy you no more. Everyone gets, okay, you're a qualified candidate. Okay, everyone gets, you're running for president. Here's $100,000. Run your campaign. Everyone gets the same money. Do the same thing.
it actually pushes them to be creative.
And that's
with how
it.
they use
Yeah.
Abraham
Now I gotta
Lincoln
listen
didn't
to you.
need 80 million to
You
run
know,
president.
like,
Straight
real.
up.
Like, yo, I don't, like, when you have these people that are getting bought because these companies, these Pfizers and these, you know, companies are just like buying the politicians. Of course they're going to side with the why their constituent isn't going to be the one who gets the best of that deal. You work for us. We're already paying your salary.
They're serving those company interests.
Exactly. You are a civil servant. So serve.
100%.
You know, and it's and I'm proud of these civil servants. Just like our police force. People hate the police. Like, yo, I don't hate the police. I hate bad police officers. Stop protecting bad police officers. If someone's a bad police officer, get rid of them. The job is already hard enough and dangerous enough without everyone being punished because Deputy Billy Bob wanted to be extra that day. You know, train them better. Stop saying defund the police. Are you out of your minds? Like, defund the police. So
it's the funding should be like targeted better.
Exactly. Yo, if my mom gets attacked, I'm calling the police. I'm not calling Jamal. You know? I'm going to call the police.
Yo, Jamal, they got my mom. We got to go.
Exactly. Like, you call the police. The police but you know what the police don't need to do? They don't need to harass the average citizen because they want to be bullies. That's not okay.
Or even because they want to meet some kind of quota. I feel like a lot of them try to get tickets because they're trying to meet some quota.
Because it's a business.
Yeah, it's like you have the ones like with the speed radar guns.
Yeah, stop making it a business. You know, we have so much real problems that we don't need to make up problems. That's even the thing with politicians. Politicians do things poorly enough without having to make up what they're doing wrong. Yo, stop. There's so much bullshit facts out there in the world today. We don't even know what's real. We don't know what's real. We need to stop. Like, the world should be, honestly, at 2024, going into 2025, the world should be an amazing place. We have all this technology, all this modern, like, everything, and yet we still can't figure it out. We have enough food to feed the planet. I know, because I've seen all-you-can-eat buffets. Like, we have enough food to feed everyone on this planet, even though I think we have way too many people on the planet, you know, but still, we have enough food to feed everyone. We have enough technology to sustain everyone. We have more empty houses in America than we do twice as many. We have twice as many empty houses as we do homeless people. We can figure out, and then on top of that, homeless people is a systemic problem. We need to figure that out. We should be able to figure out problems, and then we're over there like pointing fingers, like, I hate your outfit. Where's Hulk Hogan? Like, are we out of our minds?
Yeah, it's wild. And like, based on all that, say like in a hypothetical situation, you were president for like a week. What's like the first like?
Yo, you don't want me to be president for 1 week.
But what would you do?
Ayatollah.
Like, yo, if I have one week, yo, I'm dictatoring the whole thing. I'm like, yo, okay, what? Yeah, those people are dead. Yeah. What about this? Gone. Yeah. We gotta go. You gotta go too. You're gone. Like, I really think, okay, for some reason, we have like really interesting laws for me. Like, for example, if someone robs a bank, I kind of understand what they were doing. I'm not saying they shouldn't get punished, but I get it, right? But if you mug like some lady walking down the street, I feel like you should go to jail for 10 years. Like, you're just not a good person. You just punched some old lady and then took her purse for $18. Like, not only are you not a good person, you're not even smart. You got to go. You know? If you like sexual assault someone, like, for real, you know what I'm saying? Because I know you can't use certain words online. So like, if you assault, right? If you R-word someone, like the real R word, like not like I don't know what I'm saying. This jump out the alleyway. Yo, we can't rehabilitate that. You got to go. You murdered kids, or you like touch kids. You got to go. Yeah, you got to go. Man. You know, you got to go. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I don't know, like he was 18, she was 17, she was 19, he was 17. I don't know about that. I'm talking about the real stuff. Like, yeah. And I'm not saying that those other things aren't, like, I'm talking about like when people are like, oh, I'm talking about like, yo, I have video. That way there's no question. This happened. This is the video. This is the 100% proof. There's no fixing that. You got to go, bro. You got to go. Like, I'm big. You got to go. I understand mobsters. They kill other mobsters. I get it. You signed up for that. It's the boxing thing.
Participate.
But if you're like a serial killer, you got to go, bro. There's no, let's see what happens. I feel like Charles Manson's still alive. You got to go, bro. Like, Dave, I got the video. You're gone. You're gone.
If you or I were president, the Oval Office would be condensed smell of gourmet sabzi.
Yo, it would
make people try to pass out for sure. They would walk in and be like,
it'd be delicious. Yeah. Like, yo, I'm just be like,
national dish.
I would fix everything. Gourmet sabzi would be the national
dish. American dish. No more hot dogs and hamburgers. Gourmet sabzi.
I would just fix things. I feel like we should fix things.
I hear a lot of people say, like, if they were like president, like the one thing they would do, it's like, you know how there's like mandatory army service, like in some countries.
Sure.
They would do like everyone mandatory has to work a year in food or retail.
Work in retail, so you know what it feels like.
Yeah,
I could see that. Like, I could see that. Like, I would just like, we pay taxes. We don't even know where those taxes go. I would be like, guys, this is a chart of exactly where your taxes go every time you pay. This is a pie chart of what you pay for. Like transparency, accountability, like do better, government.
That would be.
And not just this government, all governments. Like,
because I'll say this, those like random streets that have like, oh, like you can't park here on Mondays. There's street cleaning.
Oh,
yeah, I've never seen a single street cleaner in LA in my life.
In my neighborhood, straight up, okay, we have like one side is the Monday side, one side is the Tuesday side. So 2 days of the week, it's like I'm limited to where I can park.
You gotta move.
There has been broken glass on my street for a solid month.
Yo, but you would get a ticket. You'll get a ticket,
Yeah.
but no glass pickup.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm just saying, like, we need to do better.
100%.
We need to do better. You know, we need to do better by people. We need to do better by women. Like,
Absolutely.
yo, how are we not her bodying, her choicing the world? Like, whether it's abortion or her job. Abortion, her job, anything. Her body, her choice, bro. I don't know. I don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? Sure, there should be limitations. There definitely should be limitations. Like, we're not aborting. You know, I would have probably been aborted at 6. I was a bad 5-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it was up to my mom, be like, you're gone. But I'm saying, like, we should have, we're in a world where it's like almost extremes. Why is everything an extreme?
It's a lot of restriction on freedom.
Yeah, like, yo, when it comes to whatever the politics are, like, yo, we can figure this out. It is a conversation. What is actually wrong here? Let's do this. Stop bullying. Let's stop pushing. You know?
100%. Just wanted to say that this episode of the YAWP podcast is sponsored by Mudwater. Mudwater is an awesome coffee alternative that blends delicious organic ingredients such as adaptogenic mushrooms and turmeric, designed to give you a sustained energy without the jitters. Each serving of Mudwater comes with only 1/7 the amount of caffeine that comes with coffee, so you get a focused energy boost without the crash. And if you're looking to cut back on coffee, Mudwater is a great alternative that is also gluten-free, vegan, and keto-friendly. So, if you're ready to upgrade your morning, feel free to use my link and try Mudwater out. You'll get 15% off any new purchase that you buy, and if you decide to subscribe and get a starter kit, you'll get $20 off along with a free frother. So go ahead, try it out, ditch coffee, drink Mudwater. Now, back to the episode. You know, I'm gonna be honest, I totally forgot to like bring this up in the like earlier on, but do you read Farsi?
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, there's one guy who actually put a question in Farsi. I was wondering
Let me
if
see
you
it.
can, like read it for
Yeah,
us.
let's
and
read it.
translate.
See.
I want to read it for برای کسی که تازه میخواد استنداپ کمدی رو شروع کنه اونم از ایران چه توصیه و راهنمایی داری. Okay, so they ask for someone who is starting out stand-up comedy or wants to start out stand-up comedy in the beginning, and that's especially in Iran, what advice or direction would I tell them to go?
I heard of the stand-up comedy and I heard the Iran, so it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that I got.
the idea is for anyone who's trying to stand up comedy, especially in somewhere like Iran where, you know, freedom of speech is severely limited, it's not easy. But they are coming out with some of the best comedy in Iran. Honestly, there are stand-up comedians who are creating things that are so socially relevant and so under the radar at the same time. They have become masters of the double entendre. They have become masters of camouflaging what they really mean with other words so that they are not prosecuted and persecuted. And that's a form of comedy. That satire is some of the most powerful comedy. That's why the first thing that governments limit is arts, music, comedy, movies, TV, even something like a podcast, you know?
Yeah, straight up.
They limit because they know the power of it. So if you're starting out stand-up comedy in Iran, honestly, just be very careful. But at the same time, all you have to do, no matter what, the first rule is find your voice. Who are you as a person? صدات چیه? شخصیت کمدی چیه? What kind of character does your comedy have? Rule number 2, practice makes perfect. تمرین. هرچی بیشتر بتونی تمرین کنی بهتر میشی.
Means practice.
Yeah,
I'm learning to.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Love it.
And then last but not least is, and it's not easy when you're in Iran because obviously you can't just get up on stage. You can't just go to a laugh factory,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And you can't always say the things you say. But thankfully we have social media now, and social media is like a democratic audience of people who kind of decide, even though the algorithm is kind of forcing it sometimes, but we get to decide what we like and don't like. So that's the thing. Just keep practicing and keep working and get up as much as possible. That's it. And write all the time and write what you feel. Truth. That's what comedy's really about, is your truth.
And, you know, speaking of advice, like the way the show works is the first question always comes from me and the last one also always comes from me. And that's if you had to give one piece of advice, you know, to the people watching at home, like anybody, what would you say?
If I had to give one real piece of advice to people at home, buy Bitcoin. Forex. No. If I had to give real advice, the realest advice I could say to someone is slow motion is better than no motion. A lot of times we get caught up in our own perfection and lose our direction. We think that if things aren't exactly the way they need to be, then they won't be it at all. And that's not how it works. Slow motion is better than no motion. Find a path, find purpose, and then go in that direction, no matter what it takes, you know? So like a lot of people just kind of sit around and hope something happens, and it won't, no matter what. Even in the world today, everyone's always like, oh man, this is horrible. I wish someone would do something about that. Look in a mirror. You are someone. You can do something about that. You know, 100%. Even we always hope something happens. My thing is, okay, mirrors are not just for reflection. They're also for correction. So like if your collar's crooked, there's a stain on your shirt, you know, your shirt's not tucked, you can tuck it in, wipe the stain, fix the collar. So reflect on yourself and then realize like, yo, this is my purpose. This is what I want. How do I get there? Take it in slow steps. Don't think of how far it is. Even something like this door that's right there. There's a door that's what? Less than 10 feet away, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those
SH.
watching at home,
Yeah.
there's a door.
There's a door right there.
In case you don't know.
Shan, if you had to get up and run to that door, how long would it take you to get there?
With all this equipment, maybe
Yeah.
like 3 seconds.
3 seconds. If you walk there, how long would it take you?
6 seconds.
If you crawled on your hands and knees.
I think it would actually be quicker for me to crawl. So I'd say maybe like 5 seconds.
But if you sat in your chair and looked at that door and was like, I want to
Never
go
get in
there
there.
and never get up, you'd never get there.
Never get in
That's
there.
what most people do in their lives. They look at and they're like, oh man, but they never actually just move in that direction. And all you got to do is get to the door. And you open the door. And hopefully it's the door that you want to open. If it's not, you just go to the next door.
To bring it all full circle, it's interesting because of what you said, that while you were in school, you were taking the flight and taking the leap of faith to get to that door rather than staying where you were in Washington and just watching the door, which is the Laugh Factory. You went in there to get your foot in the door.
Exactly.
100%.
Like I'm in a place of opportunity, Laugh Factory, Comedy Store, Improv, all within half a mile of each other. Like I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to put that forth. A lot of people don't realize it's just you guys. There's someone in Nicaragua right now that wishes they were you.
Absolutely.
Like their dream in life
Yes.
is everything you already have, your starting
A
point.
lot of my cousins.
So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So it's like, yo, don't take advantage of, but use things to your advantage, you know? And that's
I
okay.
especially feel like it's also because it's like I feel like with all of us, we're all like, whatever we're doing, we're the first generation to do it.
We really are.
So
Like
it's like,
that's where we're at. Like me doing comedy is going to be the way Max and Maz did comedy made it that I did comedy and Amir K did comedy and this thing. After there's going to be another generation. And when people look at it, they're like, oh, once again, once we have those comedians, we have more representation. We have more of a voice. People know more about that. So that's where we're at with it. So slow motion is better than no motion.
slow motion is better than no motion.
That's why even though we only got through three of the 200 questions, I'm glad.
We got
you
through
know what I'm
most.
saying?
We got through most. We got through
Okay,
most.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but Tehran, seriously, thank you so much.
I
for
appreciate
coming
you.
on.
Thank you
It was
for
great to
coming
have
here,
you.
man.
Thank you. If you guys like this episode, make sure to like and subscribe. If you guys want to see what's going on with the show, like what's coming up next, make sure to follow the socials. All my links are going to be down below as well.
What's your OnlyFans?
I do not have that
Yet.
at all.
Yet.
Ever.
Yo, you're gonna catch
no,
me.
no. If you guys want to see what's
You
going
can
on,
post PG
if you guys want
content
to see
on
what's going on with
OnlyFans.
Tehran and his OnlyFans, you
Yeah.
can. All his links are gonna be down
Quick
below
question.
as well.
Any shout outs, things you want to
Yeah.
just-
Anything you want to promote?
Thursday nights at the Lap Factory is Tehran Thursday, 10 p.m. at the
100%.
Lap Factory. Look out for other shows. I'm coming to a city near you soon. And find me all across the board on social media and everything above at I Am Tehran. All across the board. If you don't know how to spell Tehran, just watch Fox News. They literally talk about it every day. Literally talk about my name every day.
Yeah. Tehran, again, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
This has
coming.
been the You Ask We podcast, and I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.